Hi, it's Jessie. I'm back again, and I wanna bring something before you that might be a hard pill to swallow, but I wanted to open your eyes and help the scales to fall off. Okay? So I'm gonna start with a little quote or two. You know the Spider-Man movie? Anyone big Spider-Man fans? The best line in the movie: "With great power comes great responsibility." That's the one that everyone remembers. But what about this one? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I bring these quotes to you because the second quote has more relevance for today than the first one, and the first one is the one that we should have in mind, okay? Because responsibility, it places demands, okay? It places demands for accountability. It places demands for reform, okay? It places demands that we grow and we change and we be better people, you know? So, the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because there's been a lot of violence between the police and people in the communities, right? One incident that I want to bring before you is of Tyree Nichols. Now, this poor man was beaten to death, and that's a horrific scene, and everyone is outraged about it. But something else happened in these videos that no one else really pays attention to, and they should be equally as outraged about this. I want to share this with you, and I want the scales to fall off your eyes. I want you to see something because you may not have recognized it before, okay? We all call for police reform, and we train these boys and we retrain them and we weed them out, but we don't understand the problem, you know? We don't understand. You know, a lot of people think they can't handle the power, that they get drunk on power, but it's more than just the power of their position. You understand? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, what in Tyree Nichols' situation in the videos am I calling on you to be outraged about? Well, when the ambulance came and they were just standing around, yeah, them boys got fired for it. Yeah, people were outraged about it. But it should point your eyes to this fact that there's a system at work. And this beast, it has like 7 heads. You look at one head and see the problem. You see that people made mistakes on their job on another hand. But you don't see that this beast has 7 heads and they all work together. So it's like when the police have a problem with you, the other 6 heads will make a problem with you. They'll fail to do their jobs, dereliction of duty, you know, and it will cost you. It will cost you greatly. And many times they'll even jump on board with the cause of the police, whether it be to, you know, set you up for some kind of crime to paint you as dirty to make you look bad, or whether it be to just stand around and, you know, stroke the ego of the police like, yeah, you got them, good job, this world is horrible, good job in taking down the bad guys, we're not going to help him, we're going to stand here and praise you, we're going to stand here, we're going to let him die, you know? Nobody like looks at the mentality of what is going on with these boys, but it's not just looking at the mentality of what is going on with these boys, it's understanding the system with this 7 headed beast. Yeah, I know, I'm aware. That might sound schizophrenic to some people, but when you understand these things, that depiction of a 7 headed beast is the most clear way to understand this thing. You understand? Nobody moves outside police approval. Nobody. Everybody jumps up to serve the police. You know? They wanted that boy to die, and so the boy had no help. The boy had no help with the police standing right there. The boy had no help with the ambulance standing right there. And you might think that I'm being extreme, that I'm pointing out this one incident and saying that there's a connection of these systems. But I want you to understand something, because I've been the target of the police before. And no, I have no record. I have never been arrested, but that doesn't mean that they didn't try to pin something on me. And while they were trying to pin something on me, I could find no help. My daughter had a sledding accident, and she ran into a pole. No, there wasn't a pole at the bottom of the sledding hill where I took her to. That thing was like 50 yards off, you know? But the sled came down so fast on the hill because there was ice on the hill, and it went over all this land and crashed into this pole, and she thought she broke her ribs. I had to carry her to the car with another man, and I brought her home, and I was praying, because I already been through it. I know that this beast is connected and there's no help out there, right? I know that if my kids get sick or hurt, they're going to use it. They're going to exploit the opportunity to build their case on me because the beast is connected, right? So, but my daughter, she was suffering so much and I didn't know how to help her. So I had no choice. I had to call 911. So I call 911 and the ambulance shows up and they bring her to the hospital and they put us in a dirty room with blood all over the place from the previous person. And this was at the height of the pandemic when it first began, when everybody was so conscious about being protected and not even being exposed to other people's breath. And they put us in a room full of blood. Bloody gloves, bloody syringes, puddles of blood on the bed. They stuck us in that room. The ambulance driver stuck us in that room and they walked out snickering. My child was only 8 years old at the time. They used that opportunity to take a swipe at me to expose my daughter to biohazardous material. Now, there shouldn't be a connection between police and other agencies. They shouldn't come to make war on you. They shouldn't stand around and watch you die. But here's the thing that they do. And it's a problem. It's a real problem. So when people tell me to shine my light, I'm not shining the light of salvation of telling you your sins are forgiven. I'm shining my light to tell you that this damn beast, it needs to fall. It needs to die. And I'm consciously aware that everyone out in the world, whether it be in the church or the school or in the hospital or in the ambulance, in the doctor's office, my neighbors, everyone stands up to serve the beast and help the beast. So you can talk like you're my help. But there are things in the world that cue me off, that you're no help to me. When I can hear you before you come. When there's signs going off around me. When you double talk and see what you can get away with. You say one thing and then you turn around and say another thing. And everything is meant for confusion, And sometimes it feels like there is no escape from it. I listen to these people on TV talking about we need police reform. And the same people who are calling for police reform are advancing their agenda. The same people who are calling for police reform are saying take the cuffs off the police. They have infinite power, and it's a problem. And you maybe not see that. But it's a corruption. They don't see the value of other people's lives because they have this little network where they're all a team. They're all team players. And if you're not one of them, then you have to die. Then surely you must be the evil one. And they will work, scheme, plot, target, neglect, do everything within their power to make sure that you are sabotaged and taken down. And it's ridiculous. So I stand alone because I'm safer this way. Not because I'm antisocial, but because, dear rabbis, even you didn't see them when they were playing you. You know? When you were preaching that they were very sorry and encouraging forgiveness, and the same time you were speaking that message, the same time they were taking their swats, hitting, trying to provoke, poking, trying to move, you know. They were sabotaging, targeting. How can you actively encourage forgiveness when you don't know what's on the other side? Like my brother when I was younger, he always talked like he was a hero. Like nobody's gonna mess with my sister. This guy Chuck, he said something about me, so my brother knocked his 2 front teeth loose. You know? Nobody could say anything about me when Tommy was around. But then Tommy said a whole lot of things about me. You know? He worked both sides. He made sure that he had his bases covered. You don't understand what I'm saying. She's evil, man. You don't know her like I know her. So he's the one who can dictate who people are. But at the same time, he's the one who can hold you down and squirt mustard in your eyes and then come back and say, you don't know what I was going through. I was just mad because 3 black guys picked on me. He wasn't mad that 3 black guys picked on him. He was mad that I made the honor roll. And while he was squirting mustard in my eyes, he was telling me how I deserved the very best. It's confusing and it's conflicting. But that was my first beast. So I got to know a little bit about how he operates, you know. My second beast made me a little more aware. And so knowing how the beast works, when we come up on the 7-headed beast, I got their number. I know them. I'm not running with them. I'm not mounting up with them. Their time is going to come and they're going to see no more. I'm not waging war against them, but I want nothing to do with them. I'm not going to help them. When judgment comes for them, I'm not going to help them. I'm going to let them die. Because they're already dead. Don't you understand? When you sit up there and you play God, when you're competing, you've put yourself on a road to death, to the end. When you sit up there and you've decided that other people don't deserve to live, when you take their lives to make yourself bigger, you've already sealed your fate. You're already dead. People who are alive don't give themselves over to evil because their mission is to protect life, to serve life, to preserve life. So we don't get involved in these plots and schemes, which even though you're over there telling me, let's get them, let's get the ones who came after you. At the same time you're telling me that, you're also plotting with him and telling him, let's get her. Let's prove this case. I see you. You're covering all your bases, you know? I'm not fooled when you come talking righteous to me, because I see you working every single angle. And you remind me of my first beast and my second beast. I'm not fooled. And yeah, it makes me rebuke my bishop, makes me rebuke my rabbi, and they might get angry at me. But it's not them that I really have a problem with. You understand? It's their attachment to you and them not knowing what they're doing. Them not knowing who they're serving. Them not understanding that there's no need to make peace because the end will come. And yeah, people could have been saved. We could have taught people about this beast so that they don't serve him. Because everyone who serves the beast goes to death. Everyone who serves the beast goes to death. When you unthrone God, when you take God off the throne and lift this beast up and you serve this agenda, you're serving an evil agenda. And it may look righteous to you, but that's always how evil works. It always plays on your sense of righteousness so that you'll hit people, so that you'll attack people. Because evil preserves its own life by working through you. And if it's working through you, even if I love you, I can't stand with you. It's not that I want to be isolated. It's that I can have no part in that. And they sure will try to attach to me through other people. Look how they use my own children. How they try to attack my own children as we speak. As I am speaking right here, right now. They don't think I know. My kids were sick. My girls were sick. When they're working, it affects our spirit. And when you affect our spirits, because we're Israel here, my girls are daughters of Israel. When you affect our spirits, it manifests in the spiritual. So when you try to connect, it hurts. It makes us sick. We're not sick otherwise, which is why I'm always telling you, go away. And I know you think you got this thing under control if I just jump on board. But no, you bring death. And that sickness is a warning. Don't go that way. And you maybe don't understand it. And that may be why I can't have nothing to do with you. And you maybe think that I'm putting you down. I'm not putting you down. You have to choose for yourself who you're going to be aligned with. You can align yourself with the beast and get puffed up and lifted up. They can pay you good money. They can give you positions. They can help deals go through for you that you couldn't manage in 1,000 years. But at the end of the day, it costs you something, you know? And you maybe not see it because you maybe didn't see my value. But I won't be connected to you. So you can stand with the beast or you can stand alone. If you stand alone, we stand together. I mean, you stand with that beast, I have nothing to do with you. You're already dead. And I don't touch dead things. You know? You want to resurrect, separate from the beast. Choose to do good. Choose to not get involved. What happened, happened. And it's not that I'm protecting someone specifically. The reason why I won't attach with the beast and their agenda. That's not it at all. History happened. But by the grace of God, people have changed. And they're not as bad as they used to be, or they're completely out of my life by the grace of God. You understand that? In some cases, God has erased them. If I looked for them, I couldn't find them. I couldn't tell you where my sister is. I have no idea. So, yeah, there's no need to fight it. Because I suffer for God in covenant, you understand? If you touch it, He won't. But if you leave it alone, He will. He will make them as nothing. He will make them as my sister. Do you understand? As if they never existed. Nowhere to be found. No breath left within them. It's the way that He is. And you have to let God be God. I know we all say we got to lift up God. We got to make His name great. But if you just take your hands off of stuff, He'll make His own name great. Because He's God all by Himself. He don't need anybody to lift Him up. I know you all say, lift up the name of Jesus and He'll save you. But my God is the Almighty. There's a difference. He is God by Himself. And I belong to Him. I am His inheritance. And even if I don't share Him with you, He is still protecting me. He brought a flood to Reno when I was in Reno. Then nobody knew I knew God back then. I didn't need any power of agreement or any affirmation whatsoever. All I said to God was, please get me out of here. Please take me away from this place. This place is horrible. God, shut them down. Shut them down. And then He made the waters rise. He melted the snow on the mountains. The rain came. The flood came. The place was shut down. I got out. Because that's my God. And He will move the mountain. He'll move the snow down the mountain, bring a flood. I know my God. That's a luxury that I have that you don't, because I stand alone. Because I can see Him in every instance of my life. When I am sad, He is my cheerleader. Can you say that of God? Do you know Him, or do you just have this imagination of who He is based on what you read in a story? I know Him, so when I look back at these stories, I say, I know this God. I know this God who tells Gideon, send them boys home, you don't need them, because He's God by Himself. He don't need you to lift Him up. He's going to win the battle even if no one's on the battlefield. He's going to bring your enemies to cut themselves down. He is God by Himself. Stop aligning with that seven-headed beast. My life is not in their hands. Justice is not in their hands. Salvation is not in their hands. And if you'd get their hands off of you, you'd see that the world would be a much better place, because these people corrupt. They teach people how to be, and when they're done plotting and scheming over here, when they're done serving that beast purpose, they go out and make themselves beasts and serve that purpose another way, because they learn these ways. They learn these ways, and it's efficient. It's so much easier to handle people than to relate to people. But the reward of life isn't found in what you get out of people. It's found in the relationship that you have with them. And you maybe don't understand that, you know? And maybe I sound contradictory because I say I stand alone, right? But it's not that I want to stand alone. It's that I have to, because you all are handling me. I gave you my number. I said, call me. Not a one of you had the guts to ring my phone, and yet you think you want to determine my life? You don't know me. You don't know what I want. You don't know the plan God has for me. You don't know what He's bringing. You can't see. So hopefully my words here bring the scales to fall off your eyes. And hopefully you dismount from the damn beast and you learn to stand alone. Not to be isolated, but to be in relationship with other people. Not to handle them, but to lift them up. To be in relationship. To care for them. To be common to them. I know Bishop doesn't want to be common to the people that he's up there trying to lead. And that's your fatal flaw right there, buddy. Because you got everything in your imagination. And you're shaping people into your own image. You don't know who they are, and you don't know who God is. And that's sad. When you connect to people with your spirit, when you're spiritually gifted, you lift each other up. You don't have to eat people. You just have to lift each other up. Be connected. Be common. Know people. You don't want to be condemned. You don't want to be judged by them. Teach better morals. Teach better ethics. Teach less judgment. Well, I know that's hard for you. You like to judge the mess out of every little thing. But teach people to be less judgmental, and then it'll be easier to be common to them. Because when you love somebody, when you really love somebody, you don't see all their flaws. You forgive their flaws. Remember, love covers a multitude of sins. So you can be afraid of being cut down, but that's because you got no love for the people and they got no love for you, and you know it. But when you have the love of the people, love does cover a multitude of sins. You don't have to be afraid of not being perfect, because they're going to help you. They're going to help you to get better. They're going to redirect your attention to something else when you're talking nonsense. You know? Like, leave that mess alone. Here, come and do this. You know? Don't do that. Stop talking to me like that. Stop treating me like that. I'm not less than you. I think that's the first lesson for you. The people that you're teaching, they're not less than you. Alright, I think I've about used up all my time in my limit to how long I can make a video. So I'm gonna let this one go, and I'm gonna encourage you to see past what you see with your eyes, and understand that there is a bigger picture. See the bigger picture. Don't assign false values. Look at the bigger picture. Open your eyes, because with that great power comes great responsibility, and it is your responsibility to own your judgments, to be responsible for what you believe, to be responsible for how you act, to be responsible for how you reform, how you bring change, what you change. And that's about all I have to say for today. Y'all have a good day. God bless.